If you're African in the diaspora, you've probably heard this question before. So, when are you coming back home? And your stomach tightens up a little bit. Because it's not a simple question. It's not just buy a ticket and move. There are kids, mortgages, visas to get, a job you've been holding for 10, 15, 20 years. So in this video, I don't want to guilt trip anybody. I want to talk honestly about why I believe the diaspora plays a huge role in the advancement of the African continent, economically, politically, culturally, without pretending it's easy. And I'm not just talking about Africans with a passport from back home. When I say diaspora, I mean Africans born on a continent and now living abroad, African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and even non-Africans who genuinely care about this continent. Because if Africa rises, all of us with roots, history, or hope tied to this place, we rise with it. Now let's start with the obvious. Most Africans didn't leave their homes because things were perfect. People left because of war, insecurity, lack of opportunities, bad governance, broken systems, or simply the desire for a better life and better education. On the other side, you find stability, systems that mostly work, access to healthcare, predictable salaries, working infrastructure. So when we say come back and build Africa, people are not crazy to ask, build what exactly? With which electricity? Under which policies? How do I protect my kids' future? Some see Africa as hell they escape, while others working 2 or 3 jobs abroad just to survive see Africa as heaven, a place where at least they feel human. Both realities exist. We have to be honest about that. Now, with all that said, here's my conviction. The diaspora is Africa's greatest untapped asset. Yes, we send billions back home every year. That money feeds families, builds houses, pays school fees. But beyond money, the diaspora has knowledge, skills, access to markets, investors, institutions, narrative power, the ability to shape how the world sees Africa, political leverage, the ability to influence policies, where they live. Other regions have used it. Let's look at South Korea, for example. There was a time South Korea was on the same level as many African countries. Their government intentionally reached out to the South Korean diaspora, professors, engineers, doctors, and they created pathways for them to come back, build institutions, and drive industrialization. In a generation, the reverse brain drain helped transform that country. Africa has the same potential, but we need 2 things happening at the same time. We need our government creating real pathways, better governance, clearer policies, less corruption, and easier investment frameworks. We also need a diaspora that chooses to engage, not just emotionally, but strategically. And here's the thing, being active does not always mean moving back. And this is where I think the conversation needs to shift. When we talk about the diaspora's role, we automatically jump into everyone needs to move back. But in 2025, in a connected digital world, that's too narrow. Not everybody will, or even should, pack up and permanently relocate. And that's okay. What matters is this. Are you active in Africa's story in some way? Some will relocate fully, like I did, build companies, run for office, or take leadership roles on the ground. Some will live abroad but invest, source products, build supply chains, or open markets for African goods. Some will contribute skills and knowledge remotely, training, mentoring, consulting, building systems from wherever they are. Some will shape the narrative through media, art, film, music, policy, and advocacy. All of that counts. The goal is not to measure your Africanness by your postal code. The goal is to ask, what am I doing with what I've been given for the advancement of this continent? Another important point I wanted to make, we have to stop thinking of Africa only in terms of my country. I'm from this country, you're from that country, they speak this language, you speak that language. Meanwhile, investors see Africa as one massive market, but we, the owners of the house, are stuck in rooms arguing. When I talk about the diaspora, I'm talking about a Nigerian in Houston, partnering with a Kenyan in Berlin, and a Ghanaian in Accra. I'm talking about a brother in Atlanta who has never been to the continent before, but cares deeply about Black liberation. I'm talking about a sister in Jamaica who feels spiritually connected to the continent and wants to invest in agriculture or tourism. I'm talking about a Cameroonian and a Gambian building something big in Dakar together. The continent doesn't move if each of us is solely obsessed with our passport. We need a Pan-African mindset. If there's a serious project in Rwanda, invest. If there's a manufacturing hub in the Gambia, get involved in it. Support it. If there's a tech boom in Kenya, plug in. If there's a creative wave in Nigeria, collaborate. Because Africa only wins when we think continent-wide. Now, let me be fair and speak to the argument against all of this because I think it's real. Bad governance and corruption. People don't want their hard-earned money eaten by a system that doesn't work. Weak infrastructure, unreliable power, poor roads, slow internet. All these things make it hard to run a serious business. Insecurity, from crime to terrorism, political instability. People worry about their safety. Lack of clear pathways. No one-stop shop for diaspora investment. Confusing regulations. No guarantee you can get your money out if you need to. Family and stability. Kids born abroad, spouses who aren't African, fear of starting again from zero. These are not excuses, these are realities. But if we wait for the system to magically fix itself, we might be waiting forever. So the question becomes, who will push for better governance if all the people who know how systems work stay away? Who will demand transparent policy if those with leverage never use it? Who would build alternatives if everyone is only watching from a distance? We cannot outsource the fixing of Africa to the same people who broke it. A lot of diaspora people think in extremes. Either I must move back, build a factory, hire 500 people, or I can't do that, so I'll just send money to my mom and sit quiet. But there's a middle ground. Starting small matters. Maybe you mentor one young person back home in your field. Maybe you support one serious local entrepreneur with a small equity investment instead of just giving help money. Maybe you and 4 friends start a joint venture, a studio, a farm, a restaurant, tech startup. Maybe you commit to spending one holiday every other year in Africa, staying at a local guest house, using local services, building local relationships on the ground. Maybe you create content that tells a more honest story about Africa, not fantasy, but not constant despair. Maybe you work with a local partner to bring one product from Africa into your current market. When these small actions multiply across millions of diaspora, they stop being small. No African can do everything, but every African at home or abroad can do something. So here's my heart in this. I'm not saying everybody must relocate tomorrow, quit your job, sell your homes, jump on the next flight and figure it out. I'm saying recognize your power as diaspora. You are more than a walking remittance machine. You're a carrier of skills, knowledge, standards, and networks that Africa needs. See Africa as one. Stop limiting yourself to your village and your country. Think in terms of regions, value chains, and continental opportunity. Engage at the level you can, but be intentional. Don't let years pass with zero meaningful connections to the continent. Push both ways. Push African governments to provide better environments, less corruption, more stability, clearer policies. Push yourself to move beyond complaining into contributing, even if it's one step at a time. If you're watching this from the US, the UK, Europe, or the Caribbean, Latin America, anywhere in the world, ask yourself one simple question. In the next 12 months, what is one concrete way I can be active in Africa's future? Not talk, not vibes. One concrete action. Is it a trip? Is it an investment? Mentorship? Partnership? Policy conversation? Small business you start with someone on the ground? Because Africa doesn't need more speeches. Africa needs builders, connectors, storytellers. Africa needs investors, reformers, on the continent and in the diaspora, working together as one people. The world has already decided what it wants from Africa. Our minerals, our land, our cheap labor, our markets. The real question is, what do we, Africans at home and abroad, want from Africa? And what are we willing to do, starting small, to build it? If this message resonates with you, share it with someone in the diaspora, because the future of this continent will not be decided for us. It will be decided by us or without us.